Alright, so what I'm going to do is just make all these layers invisible for right now. Alright, and let's click on the background layer. And we're going to create this stage. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see here's the final right here, and you can see it looks like it's sitting on a stage. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to the toolbar and grab the rectangular marquee tool and just draw a selection down just about 3/4 of the way down, just right about here. And then what I'll do is over here on the select menu, I'll select feather, and let's feather that about, let's say, 60 pixels, and I'll click OK. And then you'll want to fill this selection in with black, and that'll create that stage effect. Look at that. And I'll go ahead and select, deselect. Now let's bring this back in, and the texture, the bottom here, and the shadow. And then what I can do, or what we can do, is create a shadow for the stone portrait. Let me go ahead and just make this a little bit, let's go ahead and go full screen here. And to make this look as real as possible, what we can do is create like a little tiny shadow at the bottom of the portrait here. And whoops, let me go ahead and just link all these together. Trying to move all these together at once here. Okay. I can show you how to do this. I'm going to click on the background layer and then make a new layer underneath that. And I'm going to call it just stone shadow, and I'll press enter on the keyboard. I'm going to come over here to the toolbar and grab the elliptical marquee tool and draw this circular shape here right underneath the bottom. Make sure it's just, or it's the same width as the shoulders if possible. Just almost the same width as the shoulders, or the widest area. And I'll put it right about there. I'll come over here to edit and fill. We'll fill that in with black. And then so what we can do for a really cool effect, for more of a shadow effect anyway, we can add the Gaussian blur here. Now you might not want to go too much, just a little bit of blur. There we go. I'll click OK. And I can also tuck in the sides of that blur a little bit. Just like that. Isn't Photoshop amazing? Wow. Cool. I'll go ahead and confirm that. And I'll grab the move tool and I can move that shadow up and down where I like. Basically, you want to make it look like it's really sitting on there. So what we might want to do is hold down the control key on the keyboard and select the transparency of that break texture layer and click on the shadows layer, select the paintbrush and come down here. I'll zoom in and come down here and paint a little shadow at the bottom there. See that? Let's go see how that looks. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Look at that. Okay, now let's move over and add our spotlight. So it looks like this is spotlighting. There's a spotlight on top of this. And I'll move this down just a little bit. There we go. And so what I can do here is select the background and then select the elliptical marquee tool one more time. And draw another selection, elliptical selection, which will be the spotlight. And to show you what I'm talking about, this is an example. You see here. So we have the shadow right here because the light's shining down and we're creating a shadow real close to the stone, but on the outside we show the spotlight. Here we go. I'll move this, whoops, let me try that one more time. There we go. And right there. Let's go ahead and feather that about 50. And then what I'll do is I'll actually create an adjustment layer over the background to brighten the table here, or the stage. I'll hold down Alt, which is Option on the Mac, and click on our Create Adjustment Layer icon. Select Brightness and Contrast. I'll put a check in this box here. That'll bring up the brightness and contrast. And now we can have a spotlight. Look at that. You may not need to change the contrast. The brightness should pretty much do the trick. There we go. Look at that. And then I'll click OK. All right, so we need to have the light pointing down on top of the stone portrait. So in that case, we will do that on the stone portrait layer. So let's go ahead and activate that. And before I go any further, I'm going to save this. And we are going to save it as Stone Portrait Final 2. And I don't know what it'll be on the finals DVD. It might be something else, but it should be Stone Portrait Final. I'm just going to put Final 2. That way I don't erase over my other copy that I have on the hard drive. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Save. There we go. I'm going to come over here to Filter, down here to Render, and then over here to Lighting Effects. And Lighting Effects will help us create that drama look. Look at this. Now there's no preview, so as I make changes here, you're not going to be able to see it until you click OK. So you have to make your changes here and then click OK to see the result. Let me give you an example. I'll just go ahead and click OK right now. And there you go. You can see the result. And this is before. I'll show you before. This is before. And this is after. It's probably not what I want, so I'm going to go ahead and just undo that. And do that one more time. That's the only thing about the lighting effects, that it's just a little bit tricky because you don't have a preview. And I think we will have a preview in future versions. Hopefully. And so that looks pretty good. And you can see what I'm doing here is I'm using a spotlight. Just a regular spotlight. You can select which type of light you want from the Type Light drop-down menu here. You have a directional, omni, and spot. And I'm just using the spotlight for this effect. And you may have to just set it, click OK, and then look at your work. So you may have to just go back, look at it, and then undo, and then go back if it's not right. You may have to do that a few times just to get it right, but it looks pretty close to the original that we have here. But I think I'm going to go back up there again because I'm such a perfectionist and choose lighting effects and probably turn it down just a little bit and then click OK. Increase that just a little bit more. And the ambient lighting, we'll turn that up a little bit and click OK and see what we got. That looks pretty awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in real quick. Now, if you want to add some more detail, you can. You can do unsharp mask if you want. Okay, it looks great. And you can also go back and change the color of the actual portrait itself as well. So I can come in here and select Alt. And for a really cool effect, you can select curves to darken and brighten areas of the stone as well. And you can tweak it a little bit. Look at that. There's so many things you can do. You can apply different filters if you want. This is before, and this is after. It's looking really good. Okay. So that is how we can create a stone portrait. And you can also create a stone bust effect, just like you see here. You can impress your family and friends and just do a whole bunch of different things with these tricks. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next video.